Tonight, Sanjeev Gupta discusses the future of GFG for the first time since Greensill collapsed. And Port Lincoln set to finally receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. GFG owner Sanjeev Gupta has spoken out for the first time about the company's Greensill-related debt. In a podcast, Mr. Gupta expresses his confidence in being able to refinance, saying he's received a large amount of interest.
A message from the main man himself.
This year we were going to basically race to the second consolidated audit, and then we were going to go to the financial markets to look at traditional, normal funding sources and diversify.
Sanjeev Gupta opening up about the situation. He says it all came to a head when Greensill collapsed.
Managing the situation as best as we can. We have luckily a very good dialogue with Greensill's administrators, Grant Thornton, who realise the importance of these businesses.
Mr. Gupta says it's left the company with billions of dollars of debt.
Quite a big event for us. You know, Greensill was our main lender, but many of our businesses, or actually I should say most of our businesses globally, are in pretty good shape.
But the amount of financial interest is encouraging to him.
In terms of our day-to-day operations, we are taking some very strong, prudent steps to conserve cash.
The member for Giles says it's nothing we don't already know.
There's a complicated set of financial arrangements, there's a lot of exposure, and it's not clear yet what the full implications are going to be for the operations here in Australia.
Also saying Whyalla has a bright steelmaking future if the right investment is made.
Still a number of things that he said that still left me concerned, still left me feeling as though he's not out of the woods.
Mr. Gupta also asked if there are any plans to sell. His answer:
No, we have no plans to sell any of our core businesses.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Member for Narungga Fraser Ellis has appeared in court for the first time today over the alleged misuse of the country member's travel allowance. He faces 23 charges of deception after an investigation by the state's ICAC. He's been put on a $1,000 bail agreement and will return to court again in May. He told the media after the hearing he plans to defend the charges and looks forward to clearing his name. The vaccination rollout into regional centres is set to be boosted, with a new community clinic opening up in Port Lincoln next month. It comes as South Australia records the worst vaccination rates in the nation.
High vaccination rates on the horizon for regional South Australia.
It's making sure that our whole community is protected.
The South Australian Government announcing the rollout of community vaccine clinics in Port Lincoln, Mount Gambier and Kangaroo Island, expected to begin next month.
My understanding is that it won't be based at the hospital, but it will be supported by Port Lincoln staff. As part of our strategy for the Port Lincoln rollout, we'll also be vaccinating staff from other health sites. So, for example, the Port Lincoln Aboriginal Health Service.
Port Lincoln's MP Peter Treloar telling 7 Spencer Golf News the announcement is exciting, while a vaccination team will fly to Kangaroo Island for their delivery.
And in the case of Port Lincoln and in Mount Gambier, they'll be staffed by our local health network.
It comes as South Australia records the worst vaccination rate in the nation, just 35%, compared to the national average of 51%. But Mr Wade says the Commonwealth figures are misleading.
We're very confident that we will deliver on our commitment to all South Australians to have access to the vaccine by the end of this year.
The 1B rollout is already being administered across the country, aiming to reach more than 6 million Australians.
We're really keen to continue to, in a methodical, safe way, make this vaccine available to all South Australians.
Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Golf News.
With Easter fast approaching, South Australia Police have today launched their long weekend road safety blitz. They say they will be out in full force across the region, targeting those who choose to ignore the law.
Stay alert on the road this Easter. That's the message police are asking motorists to be aware of this long weekend.
In the last 5 years, over the Easter long weekend, we've had 6 lives lost on our roads. 3 of those have been in regional areas, and that also includes 48 serious injury collisions.
With increased traffic expected on regional roads, the latest campaign will see officers ramping up their presence over the 4-day period.
We'll be out conducting static driver testing stations and also mobile testing stations, speed detection and focusing on vehicle roadworthiness to make sure people are behaving safe and driving safe.
While police will be targeting the fatal 5, their main focus is on those driving distracted behind the wheel.
The evidence shows that they contribute to the vast majority, if not all, of serious and fatal vehicle collisions on our roads.
Police are urging anyone who sees dangerous driving over the long weekend to take note of the registration number of the vehicle and report it to the police assistance line on 131 444.
Plan your trip, make sure your vehicle is roadworthy and take your time. Have regular breaks, share the drive and make sure that you get there safely.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Port Lincoln man has been charged with a raft of child abuse offences as part of a major joint South Australia and Federal Police investigation. A 37-year-old has been accused of producing child exploitation material, indecent filming, aggravated possession and disseminating child exploitation material. Police are working to identify the children in the vision seized. Anyone with information about the people involved in child abuse are urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Still to come tonight, new laws passed to reform South Australia's prison system, and Port Perry's businesses joining forces to back their city. Welcome back. A pile of tea towels which caught alight inside a dry cleaner's has sparked a full-scale response from Port Lincoln firefighters early this morning. Vision captured by passers-by shows white smoke billowing into the night sky as MFS and CFS crews rushed to the scene. The small fire was quickly contained. No structural damage was sustained to the building. Spontaneous combustion of the linen is being blamed for sparking the fire. The damage bill is estimated at $500. Tough new laws to stop contraband entering South Australia's prison system have successfully passed state parliament. The Correctional Services Minister says the government has zero tolerance for those who think they can defy the law.
Thinking of sneaking contraband into state prisons? Think again. Visitors caught smuggling prohibited items can now face time behind bars, with a maximum penalty of up to 10 years imprisonment.
Our government has got zero tolerance for people who think that they can smuggle in contraband.
The tighter laws passed through state parliament yesterday, with the new reforms also seeing a maximum penalty of 10 years imprisonment for anyone caught with a controlled drug in the prison buffer zone, 5 years for possession of a prohibited item, and penalties for drone use.
It's very clear that, drones have no place flying near any prison. People caught doing this, they'll now face a maximum fine of $10,000 or 2 years jail.
The Public Service Association supports the new laws, saying they were well overdue.
We have been well aware of a problem for some time in relation to drones in particular that have been either dropping off parcels or attempting to drop off parcels at Port Augusta Prison and elsewhere.
But they also believe there should be a greater focus on staffing levels at all prisons.
The department has been cutting positions for some considerable time, and at Port Augusta Prison, as an example, they're now operating on a almost an emergency roster.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Business Port Perry is fiercely backing the city after recent negative media coverage regarding rising blood lead levels at the local smelter. Its president predicting a positive future for the region, which he says is more vibrant than ever.
It's a city with a positive future. Port Perry business owners standing as one, fed up with the recent bad publicity.
We're a resilient community, but we're probably sick and tired of all the negativity we've got around.
It follows SA Health reporting children's blood lead levels are at an all-time high, and Near Star spokesperson telling 7 Spencer Golf it's supporting their cause.
We're confident, very, very confident. The Near Star are doing everything they can to make sure that our community's safe. So we're just over it. We know that they're going to spend something, $20 million or something in the near future, the next 12 months, I believe.
The group's president says it's not just business owners sick of the city being targeted.
I think it's the whole community. Everybody that comes from Pirie likes living in Pirie. As a matter of fact, people that actually come to stay here for a short time, more often than not, will actually stay.
He claims the future is looking bright, pointing to a number of new developments around town.
We've got the Flinders Ranges right at our doorstep. We've got the Spencer Golf. We've got fantastic sporting facilities.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Support services from across the Eyre Peninsula have gathered in Port Lincoln for its annual Mentally Fit EP conference. The 2-day event helping shine a light on the mental health challenges facing country South Australia.
Brainstorming better ways to look after your mental health.
It's about connection, collaboration and communication.
Support services from across the Eyre Peninsula meeting in Port Lincoln to shine a spotlight on the mental health needs in the region.
We've got people represented right from Wowler to Sojourner to Kimber and in between, and youth engagement and opportunities for our young people was something that was really loudly spoken about.
Country areas are really forgotten in policy or in terms of access to services, and that impacts people's mental health.
Ellie Hodge was one of a handful of guest speakers encouraging those with lived experiences to speak up and drive the need for change.
Doing it in a collective way, because that's how we'll get the change that we desperately need.
The 2-day event addressing the problems the region's facing, with nothing left off the agenda. Organisers say it was important to come together after what's been a turbulent 18 months.
It's been an amazing opportunity to really share stories and talk about how we can have our voices heard as regional people.
It's invaluable for those communities. It's made it really easy for us as a foundation to come in and support as well.
Services now hoping to implement some of the changes to help further support the community. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Preparations underway for Broken Hill's Heritage Festival. And we take a sneak peek at the newest exhibitions at Port Pirie's Art Gallery. Secrets and scandals will be revealed when Broken Hill's Heritage Festival begins tomorrow night. It's hoped locals and visitors will discover some of the town's lesser-known stories during the 4-day event.
In a town where history is on every corner, it's easy to think you may know it all. But this year's Heritage Festival is looking to dig deeper.
That's been a little bit challenging, a bit hard to find secrets.
The cornerstone of the festival is the John Reid Memorial Heritage Awards on Saturday night, where those keeping history alive will be acknowledged. Neville Bent speaking on Broken Hill's halcyon years.
Everything needed to be ramped up after the war. All the resources have been used.
He says the 50s and 60s were a turning point for the city, with the introduction of B-graders and a migration boom.
What it, in fact, seen the development of South Broken Hill.
Also featuring local cemetery tours delving into the city's sometimes murky past.
There's a lot of people here. It'll give me great enjoyment to expand on their stories. It's not just coming and looking at their grave, it's expanding on their life.
It'll all kick off tomorrow night when the Town Hall facade is lit up with historic images.
The images are really fantastic. People love them.
And after being cancelled last year, Council hopes it'll become a flagship event.
And hopefully this will be the stepping stone for a bit even bigger and better in the years to come.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Pirie's Art Gallery is welcoming a new exhibition, Reflections on Mabo, which explores the legacy of the land rights activists. It's a busy time for the centre, with kids' activities also on offer this school holidays.
A striking new installation residents are being urged not to miss. It's the first exhibition of its kind honouring Eddie Mabo, which the family have been directly involved with.
Gail Marbo, Eddie's fourth daughter, really wanted the exhibition to be, I guess, an act of reconciliation in a way. So there's both non-Indigenous and Indigenous artists in this exhibition.
The first regional location of two in South Australia. It's an incredible opportunity for the gallery to host such a magnificent exhibition.
A long and complex history portrayed in a modern way.
He's normally been in historical and in books, and really Gail wanted to contemporise Eddie's legacy. So really a lot of the artists have been asked to respond to him as a person.
It's an extra special attraction for Port Pirie, with visitors from across the state expected to come look.
As it's not going to be a metropolitan exhibition, this will be one of the two locations you'll be able to see it. So encourage your friends to come up for a visit and check it out.
The gallery also preparing for a busy few weeks ahead, with school holidays just days away.
Kylie Kumlas, our local artist, she's going to be running some school holiday activities for 5 to 13-year-olds.
More information on the kids' art sessions can be found online. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
They say one person's trash is another's treasure, and Broken Hill artists will have the chance to prove that in the Waste to Art competition. This year's entrants need to use aluminium and steel cans to highlight reuse and recycling. Entries close tomorrow, but there's still time to complete those finishing touches.
However, the actual artwork isn't due in until next week, so they've got until the 9th to actually bring the work in.
Council and West Darling Arts will hold an exhibition at the Albert Kurtzen Museum in a fortnight. With Easter around the corner, the Whyalla City Council was reminding locals to recycle the foil wrapped around chocolate eggs. The initiative encouraging residents to remain environmentally friendly, with alfoil a very valuable resource. Staff asked locals to squish the foil into a small fist-sized ball before recycling. More information can be found on Council's website. Stay with us after the break. We will check the region's fuel prices, and we'll also have a look at all the latest weather details. Hello again. It's time now to check those all-important long weekend fuel prices with some good news for drivers on the Yorke Peninsula. Here's Lachlan Itter with this week's Fuel Watch.
If you're getting road trip ready, it's a bit of a mixed bag this week. While fuel in some towns hasn't gone up at all, others have been hit relatively hard by price hikes. Port Augusta, the worst offender this week, jumping to $1.42 a litre and making it one of the pricier places to fill up across our region. It's still topped by Broken Hill and Port Lincoln though, around the $1.44 mark in those towns, although some good news for the Silver City, where prices haven't changed since last week. Whyalla and Kadina both seeing slight increases at either end of $1.38 a litre. Port Pirie unchanged, and you guessed it, it's our region's best price at $1.35. The Adelaide Yo-Yo continues back up this week to $1.45. The bad news continues for Port Augusta with a 7-cent increase on diesel as well. Prices in Port Lincoln and Whyalla have gone up ever so slightly to $1.35 and $1.36 a litre respectively. But it's smooth sailing for the rest of the region, with stability the theme of the week. Port Pirie and Kadina $1.32 and $1.45 in Broken Hill. Finally, to Auto Gas, and we'll rip the band-aid off first. Port Pirie and Kadina have recorded the only increases, though we are talking less than a cent. Good news for drivers in Whyalla, dropping down to 88 cents and making it the cheapest in our region. Unchanged across the rest of the board, 92 cents in Broken Hill, 96 in Port Augusta, and Port Lincoln, 99 cents there. Remember, as always, that these prices are the regional averages and do not reflect any one particular outlet. But if you do spot unleaded, diesel or auto gas cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
A spectacular nature event is unfolding in outback New South Wales as Lake Pinnaroo fills with water for the first time in almost 10 years. These pictures show water flowing from Frome Creek into the usually dry lake after record rainfall in the Corner Country last Monday. Lake Pinnaroo is an important breeding ground for water birds and supports plant life during extended drought periods. Once filled, the lake can retain water for a number of years. Great vision. Alex Sykes is off tonight, so I will be taking you through the weather. And it's been another wonderful autumn day today, with that weather set to continue into the long weekend. From 3 p.m. today, Woodner had the region's high of 32 degrees. Port Augusta and Port Pirie both hit 31. Coober Pedy got to 30, a little cooler in Port Lincoln 26, and Adelaide was 24. Taking a look at the satellite image now, and skies are generally clear across SA due to dry, gently blowing winds around a high, leading to mild to warm days and cool nights. Some bright-looking high cloud in the far south is not bringing any rain. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Variable winds reaching 10 knots, seas will be less than a metre, with the swell south to southwest also below a metre. Checking temperatures for the first day of April now, and Port Lincoln set for a top of 30. Similar conditions in Cleve and Woodner also expected, reaching 33 and 35 degrees respectively. Much of the same as we head further north. Whyalla and Kadina 31 degrees, Port Augusta 34. Port Pirie sunny and 33, Clare 31, and Broken Hill a little cooler, reaching 29 degrees. Let's take a look further through the week now, and Good Friday will be warm and sunny across all areas. Port Augusta set for 35 degrees, Woodner going one better, 36. Adelaide, Whyalla and Coober Pedy all 33, Broken Hill 30 degrees. Easter Saturday is almost a carbon copy. Port Pirie 35 degrees there, Kadina 33, Port Lincoln partly cloudy and 32, and Woodner reaching a summery 37 degrees. Those partly cloudy conditions in the south will spread north on Easter Sunday. Woodner 35, Whyalla 29, Adelaide reaching 26, Coober Pedy will be sunny and 34, Port Augusta 33, and Broken Hill 31 degrees. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back at the special time of 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night. Until then, from the team, enjoy your evening. Good night.